everyone, welcome to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper, and today we're talking about a show that truly captures the spirit of the holidays. Set in the days before and after Christmas, the Netflix sitcom Happy, Merry, Whatever follows the Quinn family as they hilariously balance their differences and evolving traditions during the holidays. Dennis Quaid and Ashley Tisdale join us today to talk about the show, but first, here's the trailer.
I wanted to love you as much as I love you.
Emmy, I got this.
Hey, Dad.
Welcome home, sweetie. This must be Matt.
Oh, cop car. It's like I'm a perp, you know? And you're the... Oh.
Well, look who's here from Hollywood.
Coming in for a hug. I'm a hugger. Okay.
The Quinns are a G-rated cult. We have a sort of support group.
Support group for what?
The people who married into this family.
Christmas morning, I'm gonna ask Emmy to marry me.
I gotta be careful about who I let into this family.
I just need to prove that I'm good enough.
I'm sad.
Any requests?
Do you know the song Not Now by You? Part of it is just the stress of the holidays, but Matt and I have been really off.
This is my favorite day, and I wanted to spend it with my loved ones and Matt.
Put your hands together for Ashley Tisdale and Dennis Quaid. Hey, guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Excellent. Make sure that mic works. So good to see you guys. I, like so many other people over this weekend, binge watched this show. It is so binge worthy. So congrats, because I got through most of the first season in one sitting.
Wow.
Yay.
Have you been hearing that a
Incredible.
lot from people?
Yeah.
How come you couldn't finish?
Because, you know, I have the last two to go, but I
Yeah.
had other things I had to watch for today. Because I have other
really?
things later. But believe me, I will finish. I will wrap it up. It is that good. The concept is so interesting because it takes place, it's a sitcom that takes place really over 10 days around the holidays. Is that something
Right.
that attracted you to the project? Is that
Yeah.
over this time period?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. I thought it was an interesting idea that nobody's really doing it, you know? And the idea was to pick a different holiday every season. So it could be, you know, Easter, it could be Super Bowl Sunday, it could be 4th of July or whatever, and you just pick some days and families go at it.
Yeah.
Put
I always
knives
feel like
and forks in their hand and go at it.
I always feel like in a sitcom, the holiday episode is the best episode. So I felt like it was really cool that this was all about the holidays, and because there's so much that goes into it, and I feel this show is so relatable because everyone tries to have like a perfect holiday, but it never ends up perfect. So yeah.
The stakes are so high, and the older you get, you realize how different your family is, and you just try to like make it through that week or day.
And there's more people involved because of the
Right.
in-laws. You know,
Right,
it's
new
just like-
people coming in,
Yes.
all that stuff, and the stress of shopping.
Did you guys go Black Friday shopping at all?
No.
Actually, I did.
You did?
Yeah, my
You went to the
daughter,
mall?
my 12-year-old daughter had me out doing that.
Like in the actual
Like,
physical
I
store?
never do that. Over at the 3rd Street Promenade.
Really?
Yeah.
I online
Yeah.
shop, so
Yeah, I think today's Cyber Monday. I may like dip in there and check out some sales.
I've already
but-
done it. It's
Have
like
you?
the emails get me so much. It's like
They do.
they just know to email me.
So this show, the timing is so great. Ashley, do you want to take sort of describing what the premise is for people?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Dennis would be better at that.
Okay, Dennis, you want to take it?
I want to hear your
It's more
take
about
on it.
you.
I want to hear your take on it. Well, you know, I play a sheriff. I play Don Quinn. It's DQ still. What do you know? And you know, this little suburb of Philadelphia, and you know, I've lost my wife kind of recently in the last couple of years, and we were together for forever. And my, you know, a couple of kids still live at home, and my daughter comes back with Matt.
This guy.
Brent. Yeah, and he's the new guy, and we have our own traditions and habits, and we have kind of a subculture family, actually.
Don is such a
Yeah.
traditional guy. Why do you think it is so fun for you to play a guy who is just so kind of stringent on the family traditions?
Because he's uptight, I guess. And-
You're so opposite.
yeah. So,
That's sort of what I was leading to, because the Dennis that I've seen, I was like, you don't seem like this uptight kind
no,
of.
I gotta let go.
No.
I've learned a lot from Don.
You learned a lot from Don.
Yeah.
Like what?
Still processing it, but how to make it a rest.
And you play Kayla, and
Yeah.
she's sort of the spark plug in the family, I kind of say.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think I'm the middle child out of the girls, because we have obviously Hayes who plays the older brother, but I feel like I have that middle child syndrome where I just have to make everything about me. And I mean, to be honest though, I get divorced in the first episode.
And that's not your fault.
It's not my fault that I'm like kind of dramatic. So she kind of goes through a tough time, but she goes through a really kind of amazing journey, and don't want to spoil anything, but she really finds herself at the end. So it was really fun to play Kayla, because when I first read it on paper, like the first episode, she just like, it's a comedy, and she's like, emotionally just being dramatic all the time. And I was like, I just don't want her to be annoying, and I don't want that to happen. And so I tried to find ways to make her less annoying. And I think that, and then when I found out her journey, because the best part, Tucker, the creator, this is actually about his family. So it's based off of his family. He is actually Matt.
His in-laws.
Yeah, these are his in-laws. So he didn't really tell us like where our characters were going. We would get each episode, and he didn't want to. And it was a really interesting thing, because usually the arc of the character. And so I was really kind of taking that journey with Kayla, not knowing who I was. And so it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you went through about 3 or 4 life challenges there.
I was going to say, she has
A lot over the
she
holidays.
covers a lot
Spotlight.
specifically about her identity without
Yeah.
giving too much away. And I know a lot of people got to watch this and have had reactions to Kayla's journey with her identity. And so what kind of feedback have you had from fans so far?
Oh man, it's been overwhelming. Seeing all the tweets, and I really respected Kayla, and with her journey, I wanted to do it right, playing that role. And so I really, was careful about it, and I was just hoping that people would, be inspired. I mean, you always hope as an actor to inspire people, but the fact that people really, it is very different for me. I don't think people have seen me do something like this before. So it's been really awesome. I mean, it's been overwhelming, and so great. It's awesome.
And Don is this traditional guy, but all of his kids have these sort of big issues they're dealing with, whether it's like masculinity or their identity or their religion and how they're going to raise their children. Why is it important to show a guy like Don kind of with this like ever-changing world around him?
Well, I mean, this family is screwed up, so just like any typical family, everybody plays their role. And in this family, Don is, sometimes he's the butt of all the jokes because he creates all the, the rules. So, but it was just so much fun to do. I hadn't done a sitcom in my career, in my long career. And it was great to be around the whole cast. It was the greatest people to be around, and I was the weakest member of the cast to begin with, really, because you guys were so like sitcom savvy and all that. And there's a certain style to it that's very different from doing movies or episodic television.
What is something that was sort of something you had to learn on set being a sitcom?
Well, for me, being like you'll be on a scene like let's say like the caroling scene, where we out in front of people's houses, and there's like 3 or 4 groups of us, even though we're all together and so there's these little vignettes of everybody saying their dialogue, and you basically got to say, like peas and carrots, peas and carrots, peas and carrots in between, when you're not, it's a little, feels unnatural at the time, a little bit like doing stage, but not, and, but you get the rhythm of it. It's a lot of fun.
What's so funny about Dennis is that he's really funny. And so I remember in like the first couple episodes, he would just be like, I don't get it. Why am I being funny? How am I funny? And he was like really trying to understand how he's being funny. We're like, you're just really funny.
It's funny.
And so it was good. But it's so cool to work with Dennis, because I didn't even tell him until literally the rap party that I told him I was a big fan of Parent Trap.
Yes.
I knew that.
He's like, I know.
Everybody is a big fan of Parent Trap.
But it was so cool because the first table read, he walked in, and you just never know who you're working with. And I mean, obviously we knew we were working with Dennis, but he came in and I was like, oh my God, it's Dennis Quaid. And I was just like sitting there and I was like, and then he just started talking to you and you're like, oh my gosh, he's so nice. And he's just so humble. The fact that he can say like, I was the weakest one, which he wasn't, but like the fact that he's just like a pretty humble person. He's like, I had to learn. Like, I love that about him, and he's awesome.
So who was the weakest one? I'm joking. So
It was the stunt baby.
Was there a live studio audience?
No.
No, we
okay.
did not. We want to
Okay.
do that next year.
I was going to say, because that would be something else to get used to. And you mentioned it was sort of like theater.
Well, I would like that. Then you don't have time to think. You just got to go out there and do it.
Yeah, it was kind of, this one was really, it's hard because there's 12 of us in a scene. And those are really big scenes for live audience. And so we kind of shot it how I Met Your Mother, which is what also Pam Fryman, our director, directed.
So you know stuff like that. I don't know stuff like that. We sort of shot it like How I Met Your Mother.
So I was thinking, what would season 2 of the show be like? Because people were already calling for that. But is that the intention, that it would take place over a different holiday?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so.
For you guys, what
I
would an
would think-
ideal season 2 look like?
I would like that.
Ideal
but if we
season
did
2's on Netflix.
Christmas again, I mean, if we did Christmas again, that would be, or Thanksgiving into Christmas. Maybe we'll do 2 holidays at a time.
Yeah. I know there's a wedding coming up, so.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I didn't know that.
Well, we don't really know that. We know that they. Something
maybe
happens at the
there
end.
might
There could always be a wedding. There could always be anything.
Could be
right?
me too. You
If
know.
this is real life.
Yeah.
There's many different lines.
Can we talk about the cast really quick? Because I think what makes I'm trying to
red right
pivot. I'm trying to pivot.
You were told not to talk about that, right?
So the
I
cast.
don't know what's going on with Kayla.
Cast is super dynamic.
Yes.
Lots of funny people.
Yeah.
What was it like meshing all these personalities together?
It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's sort of like the perfect dysfunctional family. Because you got, several people that they all, like I say, they're very different types, and they all play their role in the family. And then the in-laws, that are outside of the family, or that I kind of put over
outlaws.
there. So we have like 3 different religions. We got, several different cultures. We were just wrapped into one as they come in. It's perfect American family.
Yeah.
I think too is what's so great and different was that we were all like we still are a huge family. We have a group text still going. And, we all personally kind of went through really difficult things while filming. And so it was so nice just to have this big group that, it's like, you do many different movies and shows, but it was a different feeling. And, Dennis was like our dad, and like having him just be there, especially when we were all going through something, was really nice.
That's so sweet. That's
Yeah.
a family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's maybe why the chemistry feels that way when you watch it.
Yeah.
Like when I say I binged it was literally like, I need to know what happens to this family. I need to know what happens to these individuals. And I think that has to do
We were
with
super
the cats
close,
feeling
yeah.
like
We
they
are
actually
very,
are like
very
a
close.
family. That's so exciting. So, okay. So how are your personal family holidays?
Personal family holiday.
Like, are they this stressful or and chaotic?
Not anymore. No, I try to keep it light. My favorite time of the holidays, especially with Christmas, is that week between Christmas and New Year's. It's my favorite time of the entire year, in fact, because nothing can happen, nothing will happen, and everybody's just kind of settled in. And there's great TV, and there's good movies to watch on the screeners and stuff, and just kind of you can really get in touch with everybody in the family during that time. Before that, for me, the stress of shopping and all that stuff, that's tough. But champagne problems. But right after the kids have opened up their gifts until New Year's, I just love that time.
How about you?
We're not like this family, but we definitely, I think for us, it is a little bit about tradition. I love tradition stuff. It's just fun to like be able to be like, this year, okay, every year we do this. And so a lot of our stuff is like my great grandma used to, she has these recipes of cookies. So my mom, me and my sister will make them. And so it's just like gone down in generations, and it just gets you all like excited about the holidays. I love the holidays just because it's like the time where you have time off and you're just able to be with your family.
That's what he was like, nothing can happen.
Yeah,
I
it's
do
just like
love that.
chill to like, because we are constantly traveling and working and stuff. And it's just like everybody just gets to just chill. And that's so nice. And wear pajamas all day.
I have to say, my family can be slightly stressful, so watching this was like triggering and relatable at the same time. I was like, oh, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
It's built to relate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And Garcelle Beauvais plays your love interest.
Yes.
And she's a new housewife.
I know.
Yeah.
So did she give you guys any sort of intel about
She
like
got-
the behind the scenes?
That happened like while we were doing it,
Yeah.
right at the very end, right?
Yeah, she got it after.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen her since, but
No.
we are dying to be in it. I mean, I am.
Yeah.
I was like
Can't
saying,
wait.
like, can we do a special episode where they
I
come
was
to
like,
set?
can
Can't
we be
wait.
filming the second season?
Yeah.
You come with the cameras.
Yeah.
And me and Siobhan are just like humongous Real Housewives fans, so we were freaking out.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm such a huge fan. I can only imagine. I would just want to know all the like behind the scenes tea. So
we're
you
gonna
have to
get it
come
out of
back
her.
when you guys get a season 2.
Yes.
And
Yes.
share that. Yeah. Also, I know you have there's the new High School Musical, the series, which you're not a part of, but you were a part of the original. And what does it mean for you to see something that you were a part of continue to evolve and change over these years? It must be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's just a crazy thing to be part of a project that was that huge and powerful. I haven't seen the series, so I don't know much about it. But yeah, I mean, it's given me, many opportunities since, and so I owe it a lot to that movie. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just always think it's cool to see how something continues to evolve and change. And then Dennis, I feel like I've just seen you working a lot lately. I recently saw you in The Intruder, and I know you're on Goliath. And this is a real turn for you doing this comedic thing. So why is it so important for you to like continue to do projects that are so different and versatile?
That's the only strategy I've ever had with my career, was to do as many different types of things as possible. Yeah, because, if I get like a shiver of fear up my spine, that means I should probably do it, because it gets me out of my comfort zone.
What's the last thing that gave you that shiver of fear?
Oh, every time I go out there, the very first day, you're just standing there, kind of a blank slate, and you really don't have any idea what you're really going to do. And, you do it, and there's kind of like silence. So you just kind of like taking a stab in the dark every time you go out there. You just got to trust it,
Yeah. Well, you guys nailed it with this one. We do have a couple of questions before we get out of here. Who has the first one?
Hey, to both of you. So, Ashley, one of my favorite characters that you played was Logan in Young and Hungry, but you seem like the total opposite. So I was just wondering, how hard was it for you to transition into that character?
Transition to Logan?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't hard. The one thing about Logan, I just felt like she was more, I don't know. I feel like she was closer to my character in High School Musical. And I think that she had this kind of, I related to her. I always try to relate to characters that I play, and I related to her in owning a company. And, obviously I'm so different because she's just like, I don't know, she was just like one of those types of characters. But that wasn't really hard because I've played that character, I think, a lot. And what I liked, actually, the difference that I liked between Kayla and Logan, because Kayla, we still don't know what's going on with her, but she has a journey, which I really like. I always usually play these characters that you just kind of see and you don't really know their backstory. And so it's cool to play a character that has like this arc, and like you get to really, she finds herself when you guys are finding her as well. So
Thank you. Next one.
Hi. So my question is, what is a major challenge playing each of your characters, and has your show inspired any viewers watching so far?
Yeah, I always feel like you're playing yourself no matter what. Because, you watch a Jack Nicholson movie, no matter what character he's playing, you're still in your mind saying, I'm watching Jack Nicholson. And, it's things that you expect or whatever. But yeah, you're always playing yourself. That's what makes it individual, rather than just a cookie cutter, no matter who plays the part. And, it's really just about letting go and letting, for me at least, it's kind of like osmosis. It just kind of takes over, with the people that I'm around and things like that, to kind of get, what's the tone of the party?
yeah, and I think that it's been really awesome, just like the, obviously feedback of people being inspired and saying that they relate to the show. People have like binged it multiple times at this point, which is awesome. So it's pretty cool. And I think the challenge with playing my character was just making sure that I did it authentically, and that was like the most important to me, like just being authentic with that character. So
I think specifically with the journey that Kayla's on, I can understand why you wanted to make sure that it felt real, because it is a journey that a lot of people are on. And especially during the holidays, it's all very heightened, you know?
Yeah. She's incredible. She's like a light. They just come on, boop. You just make it turn this, that, this, that, up and down. It's just, she can do anything.
it's so sweet because he's really good too. I mean, a lot of my emotional scenes, because even though this is a comedy, there are definitely a lot of emotional themes going on. And so as an actor, for me, how I cry in a scene is basically like I have to really believe what I'm saying. There are like different things that you learn, which is like, you know, thinking of a sad thing and like all of these different ways. But I usually am like, just listen to what you're saying. And usually if you're meant to be crying in something, you'll get emotional and you'll cry. But it is hard take after take to do that. And I have to say, like working with Dennis, him and I get emotional in the same scenes. And so he would help me get even to that other point, because just looking at him out of everybody, I was like in a scene with the whole cast and I would just stare at Dennis because I just knew like I could see him and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. But he does it every single time. Like I still have moments where I'm like, ooh, that take wasn't that great. Like, let's make sure we do another take. And he gets emotional every take. And I was just like, he told me a secret I'm not going to say, but I was like, how do you do that? And I was like, can you tell? I know. It's probably something you just made up.
Tell me again.
That's really cool to know, because there are those emotional moments in the series and they are very
Yeah.
heartfelt, and it's interesting to know that process of getting to that place every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have another question before we get out of here.
Hello, Ashley. So I grew up watching Phineas and Ferb. And seeing you from Candace Flynn to all the way like Kayla and Mary Happy, whatever. So how was it going from a cartoon character Candace to all the way Kayla?
Yeah, those are very different situations. You know, I think with animation and voiceovers, it's always so much fun, and it's always so easy because you get to do it on, you know, your time off, and it doesn't matter what you're wearing or what your hair and makeup look like. But it's always so much fun. And Candace is just a character where I get to be really free to just kind of do whatever. And I mean, if anyone's seen it, I go like way over the top. It takes a lot of energy for me to do. I literally can only do 2-hour recording sessions because it exhausts me. But I think that that's actually, to be honest, like she's so different. Obviously, this is like a more grounded show and really real and relatable. But I do think with Kayla, because she is dramatic, I get to have fun. And like Tucker allowed me, and also Pam Fryman, our director, allowed me to be kind of crazy and like bring out that like weirdness with her. And so I felt creatively fulfilled playing this character, just like I do with Candace.
Really quick before we go, can we talk about the title, Merry Happy Whatever? Does anybody want to just like explain what that means to them?
I'm still trying to figure out. I thought you'd tell me, actually.
I think it just like shows that it's just like, you know.
Yeah, I think it's one of those take off on, you know, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays type of thing, you know, whatever.
I feel like it's trying to show you that we're not a typical Christmas movie, you know, because usually Christmas movies are a little bit different than our show.
And I think it's also, like I said at the beginning, that you could take that to any holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you're saying. It is really different than a lot of Christmas movies, and I want to make that point. You really dig into some deep themes. It's heartfelt, but it's also really funny, and above all else, very relatable. Yeah, super relatable. And the perfect show for this time of year. So thank you so much. You gave me something to binge. I'll always be grateful for that.
Thank you.
And if you guys want to binge it, Merry Happy Whatever is streaming now on Netflix. Put your hands together for Ashley Tisdale and Dennis Quaid.